Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. We're coming up to the Ipswich game now, and we're playing Ipswich at Stamford Bridge, and this game will propel us back into the top four ahead of Man City, ahead of Aston Villa. We need the points, guys. There's only two words that we can use to speak about this game coming into it, and that is must win. If we do not win this game, it's very difficult to say that we're a top five team. You might as well write off Champions League football if we lose against Ipswich. City went 2-0 down against Crystal Palace. I thought, oh my God, we've actually got some hope here. Then they ended up winning 5-2. So we are back in a position, which we would have been in anyway, where we have to win the next game. And if we don't, then we lose control. And that puts us in a position where we're relying on other teams to fall for us to get into a position of Champions League football at the end of the season. So we don't want that. We want to stay in control. That is the number one concern for me, is that Chelsea will lose control of this top four race, this top five race, and put it in the hands of Aston Villa or City or Newcastle, or even Nottingham Forest. It could come to that as well. Do I think we'll beat Ipswich? Yes. Do I think we'll beat Ipswich comfortably? Yes and no. I think that, like the Warsaw game, if we get the first goal, we'll be fine. If we don't get that first goal, if we go into the game and it ends 0-0 at half-time, and after 60 minutes you still haven't scored, that's when it's going to get really concerning for me. I don't see us losing, but I can see a draw as well if that plays out. But I did see good tactical tweaks from Maresca against Warsaw, which is something that I've been criticising him for in recent games. I thought that the starting 11 against Brentford was strange. The fact that he had to bring on players like Madueke and Jackson when he could have just started them in the first place, considering he should be taking the Premier League really seriously, was concerning to me. But he did do a good job against Warsaw, bringing on Madueke for Palmer, Colwell for Tosin as well. Those decisions, it certainly made an impact. We ended up scoring 3 goals, didn't we? So, listen, although I'm concerned with a lot of the things that are happening with the team, I think the style of play could be more attractive. It could be better. I think we're more than capable of being a poor Ipswich side. I mean, Maresca's come out and said they're doing a fantastic job. I don't know where that's coming from, because looking at the table, Ipswich are getting relegated. It's not officially confirmed like Southampton. Ipswich are going down. Liam Delap is going down. He's going to go to a new club. Maybe it's going to be Chelsea for 30 million. Maybe it's going to be someone else. But we know that Ipswich aren't staying up. They're 12 points behind Wolverhampton. And I would be very, very surprised if that was to change. I mean, if they beat us and we were the catalyst for them staying up, then wouldn't that be something? But I don't think it will. So maybe Maresca's just trying to be respectful when he speaks about Ipswich. I almost think it's a little bit disrespectful in a way, because it's like you're being sarcastic towards Ipswich. How can you say someone's doing a good job when they know they're getting relegated? That just seems like almost like a backhanded comment to me. But I think what he was alluding to was, Ian McKenna, the job he's done at Ipswich, and he took them from League One to the Championship. Now they're in the Premier League. It's a great achievement, isn't it? And he was even linked with the Chelsea job alongside Maresca. He was one of the candidates to come and take this job, and Maresca ended up winning that battle, whatever you want to call it, for the selection of being Chelsea manager. So now he needs to outsmart him. But the truth is, I don't think it's necessarily a game where we think, oh, what are Chelsea going to do this time? Because we now know that the theme is basically the same thing. We're going to have a lot of the ball, recycle a lot of possession, and then it's just about what we do with it. Are we going to have shots on goal? Maresca says we need to shoot more from outside the box. That was one of the things missing, against Brentford. For me, that sounds a little bit vague, because if you've got a low block and you keep taking shots outside the box, they're probably going to be able to deal with it or block the shots, and the keeper's probably going to be all right, okay? We don't have too many players that score many goals outside the box. We have seen it more recently, though. I will admit that. Pedro Neto, Dewsbury Hall had a couple of shots against Warsaw, and Palmer likes to have a crack as well. but it's not been a consistent theme that's worked for us. So if that's the strategy, to score more goals when we're playing against teams that are sitting deep and allowing us to have the ball, then I think that we probably need to reconsider our approach. The main threat for Ipswich is very clear. It's Liam Delap. He's got 12 goals this season in the Premier League. Wouldn't it be typical if him and Hutchinson end up scoring again, like they did in the first leg in Ipswich? It would be classic, wouldn't it? But I don't think it will happen. They will be trying to make a good account of themselves, especially Liam Delap, because he is going to be looking to leave the club. Obviously, with his release clause being so low, I think £30 million for a player like Delap is a great deal. I thought it was 40 million, but it seems to have gone down to 30. That's a much more... You can justify paying that money for a player like Delap. Whether you want Delap over Osman or Gyökeres or Sesko is another conversation, but I think that he's probably worth a little bit more than 30 million. So it's a good steal in that respect. But we need to try and take care of him. We need to be defensively sound. We know that he's going to look to bully us, like he did in the first game. He was all over us. He was the man of the match when they beat us 2-0 earlier on in the season. Killed Tosin, absolutely dismantled both of our centre-backs. I think Badiashile played in that game as well. And just caused havoc, absolute havoc. So the thing is, we need to control this game. That's the number one. The second thing is we need to control Liam Delap. Do I think we can do that? Yes, I think we can. We're going to have Caicedo in there to help out defensively, and we need our defenders to step up to the plate as well. Chalobah had a great game against Tottenham, not quite as good in my opinion against Brentford, but I do think he will start because Tosin started against Warsaw. Gyökeres is going to hopefully be back in there on the left side, and then I'd love to see Josh Achimpong on the right. I thought he did a great job against Warsaw. Maresca said he's in love with the player. I mean, if you're in love with the player, then play him again. But we may end up seeing Gusto on that right-hand side. I think it's unlikely that we see Reece James starting. He certainly won't be in the midfield ahead of Caicedo or Enzo Fernandez. That doesn't make any sense. So if Reece James is going to start anywhere, it would be as a right-back that presumably inverts. But he shouldn't be playing more than 2 games every 7 days, so that won't happen. So really we're looking at Gusto or Josh Achimpong. My personal preference would be Achimpong. I'm a big fan of Gusto, but he just doesn't fit what Maresca's doing. And I think that Maresca, he needs to adapt his tactics a little bit. Listen, you can invert and you can do well. Gyökeres is a great example of it. Reece James is comfortable enough to be able to do it. I don't think he's as good at doing it as Gyökeres is. But Josh Achimpong for me is showing signs of a player who's hungry to get into that first team and confident enough to take his opportunity like he did in the Conference League. So I want to see a backline of Gyökeres, Colwell, Chalobah and Achimpong. We know Sanchez is going to start in goal. He's the Premier League keeper. I would change that, but nothing's going to happen there. Our midfield should stay the same with Fernandez and Caicedo. Fernandez maybe having a little bit more of a license to go forward, although we did see Caicedo score that amazing volley against Tottenham. It'd be nice to see both players getting into goal-scoring positions. If we're talking about the fact that we need to take more shots, we need more players to have a license to go forward so that we can create those opportunities. Because if you are against a low block and you've only got 4 players willing to go up the pitch, that's quite an easy job when you've got 9-10 players behind the ball to only occupy those 4 players. Because you haven't got Gyökeres and whoever the right back is overlapping. So you need your midfielders to get involved. And I think that will happen. And that's what I want to see happen. Palmer in the 10 is what I'm expecting. Listen, everyone's talking about resting the guy. We did it at Brentford. We don't need to rest him against Ipswich because he will not be playing on Thursday in the second leg against Warsaw. We're 3-0 up. We should be comfortably through to the next round. And we should be in a position to be able to start younger players like Amugu, like Achimpong probably again. I'd like to see Tyreek George feature in that game on Thursday, but I also want to see him against Ipswich as well. I don't think it will happen. I think we'll probably start Jadon Sancho. He got 2 assists. Even with the assists, though, I wasn't particularly impressed with his performance, but GA is something, obviously, that Maresca will use to back up the decision to start Sancho. When I talk about GA, I'm just talking about the recent game, obviously getting the 2 assists. Then the question is, who starts on the other side on the right? I think it's going to be either Madueke or Neto. Now, if we're going based on form, you pick Madueke. He just scored 2 goals in the last game, clearly making a good impact. If you're going based on rotation and who's been rested, then you pick Neto. But I would feel more confident with a player like Madueke to take players on from Ipswich as opposed to Pedro Neto, who I do feel has had some slightly underwhelming games where you think you need to try and take a man on and he just doesn't do it. And also, when he's whipping all these balls into the box, it's not his fault if nobody's there to get them, but it just seems a bit strange for Maresca to pick a player whose attributes aren't really complementing the other players. Although I love his work rate. I think that Neto's work rate is absolutely fantastic. You can't take that away from him. But I do think Madueke, for me, he would get the nod. And then we know Nicholas Jackson's going to play up top. So, yeah, just to reiterate, with Sanchez in goal, Cucurella, Colwell, Chalobah, Achimpong as the right back that inverts. Then you've got Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. I'd like to see Tyreek George, but I don't think it will happen. I think Sanchez will start in there. Palmer as the 10, Madueke on the right-hand side, and Jackson up top. I'm going to give you my score predictions. I did say 3-1 earlier, but now I'm sort of questioning myself. I'm going to go 2-0? 2-0. 2-0, clean sheet. Listen, we haven't conceded that many goals recently. That's been one thing I have been happy with. Clean sheet against Walsall, clean sheet against Brentford, clean sheet against Tottenham. The last goal we conceded was against Arsenal. Before that, we also had a clean sheet against Copenhagen and Leicester. So defensively, we're sound, even though Brentford did create quite a few chances to score against us. A clean sheet is a clean sheet. So, yeah, that's my opinion, guys. I'm going to go with 2-0. Let me know what you think. Do you think we're going to win this game, draw, or lose this game? Are you feeling confident? And what do you think the starting lineup's going to be? Where are the changes going to be made? All the best, guys, and we will catch up very, very soon.